These two men looked nearly identical, they had the same name, and they were sent to the same prison. Before imprisonment, they had never met. They are the reason why fingerprints are used to identify people. They looked identical and even shared the same name, but the two prisoners pictured were actually different people, and their remarkable case helped bring in the era of fingerprint identification. The man on the left was called Will West, the man on the right William West, and they were both sentenced to jail at Leavenworth Penitentiary in Kansas over 100 years ago. The arrival of Will West in 1903 caused the records clerk at the prison considerable confusion, because he was convinced he'd processed him 2 years previously. The clerk, M.W. McClockery, asked Will West if he'd ever been to the prison before. West said he hadn't. McClockery then set about taking his Berdillon measurements, named after the French policeman Alphonse Berdillon, which was the usual method of identifying people and involved recording the dimensions of key physical features. McClockery, still convinced the man before him had already been to the prison, looked up his name in his filing system and found one William West, who looked identical to Will West in the photographs in every respect. They even shared the same Berdillon measurements. But Will West insisted to McClockery that it was not him. "That's my picture, but I don't know where you got it, for I know I have never been here before." To McClockery's shock, he was absolutely right, too. William West was a different person altogether and in fact had been admitted to the prison 2 years previously for murder. The case highlighted the flaws in the Berdillon method, and it wasn't long before the U.S. authorities turned to fingerprinting. Its pioneer was Scotland Yard Sergeant John K. Ferrier, who met McClockery at the St. Louis World Fair in 1904 while he was guarding the crown jewels, which were on tour. He told the U.S. prison officer how Scotland Yard had been using fingerprinting for the past 3 years and evangelized its accuracy. McClockery was sold, and after being instructed on the technique, he introduced it to Leavenworth Prison. America's first national fingerprint repository was established shortly afterwards. The use of fingerprints had actually begun in 1858 with Sir William James Herschel, Chief Magistrate of the Hooghly District in Unipur, India, who asked locals to stamp their business contracts with their palms. However, he did this on a hunch that it would be a good way of identifying someone, not because he knew the science behind it.